So what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Designedcoma here, and the gameplay you're watching is some kill confirmed in Advanced Warfare. Yep, kill confirmed. I thought I'd do something a little different. So what are we going to talk about in today's video? Well, we're going to talk about college or trade school. Which is better? Well, you know what? They're both great options, to be honest with you. Now, trade school, you know, on a side note, trade school is probably less expensive than college. There is an expense to it, but it's not as, you know, bad, I guess you could say. I don't really know the exact numbers or what it costs to go to a trade school, but I do know it's a great option for anybody who's thinking of, you know, being an electrician or carpenter or welder. My father was an electrician by trade. You know, that's what he did until he retired. Oh, excuse me. So as far as college is concerned, you know, the reason I bring this up is because our, you know, presidential hopefuls for the upcoming election in the next year, or less than a year actually, you know, next year for that matter, Hillary Clinton's plan to reduce student debt kind of caught my eye. So I read a little quick article on it. I'm just going to kind of touch on a few little points in that. You know, it's being said that it could end up costing more than the proposed $350 billion with a B billion dollars, because well, for one, you know, her proposal is, you know, tax free, tuition free school, which is great. You know, I'm all for that. You know, tuition free. Everybody, you know, has the opportunity to go to school. So, you know, to have tuition free would be just amazing for a lot of students. And the reason they're saying that it could end up costing more, you know, this is obviously going to be put onto the taxpayers. You know, taxpayers are going to be covering this bill. And basically the reason they're saying it could end up costing more is because the number of students enrolled in public institutions could increase, you know, based on the fact that now, you know, more people will obviously be able to go to school, which is the ideal goal. It's the ultimate goal to get more people in there, because as a country, you know, we need our new people coming into the working world, you know, educated, you know, and when it's out of reach for them, we suffer as a country, which is why some of the people I worked with are just, you know, confused as to why it costs us so much money to go to school. So there's that. And here's another thing that's kind of interesting is that more than half of the average $18,943 sticker price at a 4-year public university is room and board, which means students are still going to have to probably pull loans for room and board purposes, you know, for other living expenses of that nature, unless their parents can obviously cover these living expenses, because the Pell Grant, you know, it's not enough to be able to cover those expenses in any way. I mean, it'll take a little tiny bit out, but it's honestly not enough. So another thing that I came across, and this was a while ago, this is about Stanford University. They announced, and I can't remember, let's see, this was back in April. It looks like back in April, Stanford made tuition free for families that earn less than $125,000 a year. So that's pretty cool there. And if they make less than $65,000, they won't have to contribute to room and board costs either. Now that is pretty nice. Students will still be expected to pay $5,000 towards college costs from summer earnings and working part-time while enrolled in college. Let's see, and the announcement is an expansion of Stanford's old financial aid policy, which previously applied to students from families making less than $100,000 a year. I didn't know anything about this. You know, most universities can't afford to offer such, you know, generous financial aid, to their students, but they could draw a lesson from the plan simplicity. So I'm going to leave a link to that, for that article in the description as well. Now, trade schools. Let's talk a little bit about trade schools. Trade schools are a great option. I have some nephews who graduated high school. One graduated this year. One graduated, I think it was either last year or the year before. And they are both looking to go to a trade school. Now, that's great, because to be honest with you, we need young people getting into the trades. We need plumbers, we need electricians, welders, we need people who know how to work HVAC, we need carpenters. We need people that can do this kind of stuff. And they're good paying jobs. They really are. I have a nephew who's a welder. He's an experienced welder. I mean, he can weld in water, upside down. It's amazing the welding he can do. I don't know if he's back yet, but he's been working in Kentucky, with the company he works for right now. They've been doing a job down there, I think in one of the auto factories, one of the Ford plants down there, and he's been doing some work there. So he makes really good money, and these jobs, you can make 60, 70 plus a year, depending on the job, and the type of work. So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, going to a trade school. My father, like I mentioned earlier, he went to a trade school. Well, it wasn't necessarily a trade school. He kind of got into the electrical trade, I don't want to say by chance, but he basically, back in that day anyway, he just walked up, to a site and said, hey, I want a job, and, he got a job. I mean, you kind of wish it was that easy now, but it just isn't. And the way, when I look at college, it just boggles my mind. My son, he wants to be a rocket scientist. That's what he wants to go to school for. And of course, the first thing I start thinking about, the only thing I see in my eyes with that is just dollar signs, the massive amounts of money that it's going to cost for him to go to school. And he's picked out a school, I think it's in Tennessee, I can't remember, but apparently it's got a really good program wherever it is. But when you start to think about it, it's just insane. And that's exactly what I get from the people that I worked with who came from. I worked with a guy who's from it was Czechoslovakia, and he's like, I cannot believe how much it costs for you guys to go to school. It cost me nothing, which is crazy to think about, that it would cost you nothing. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, that's great. And if you love the video or like the video, don't forget to give it a like, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.